Alright, this is day 2 of lesson 3. Starting off once again with solving inequalities. Subtract 5 from both sides. Got to get rid of this number first because this is being added. Do that before multiplication. Subtract 5 from both sides, and you've got 12 on the right hand side, negative 4x on the left hand side. Bring down your less than or equal to sign. Then you got to divide both sides by negative 4. And you know that anytime you multiply or divide anything by a negative, you have to flip the sign. So x is now greater than or equal to negative 3. So my justification is subtraction property equality and division property equality. And I flipped the sign because it was dividing by a negative. Over here we've got distributive property. So this is a little bit more complex. This is what you're going to be seeing today on the homework. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Less than or equal to 3x minus 2. Now we've got variables on both sides, so I want to get the variables on the same side. It's typically easier to move the one that is smallest. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. And that's going to, okay, pen, there we go. That's going to leave us with x minus 2 on the right-hand side and negative 6 on the left. Alright, and now we got to isolate that variable, add 2 to both sides, and that leaves us with negative 4 is less than or equal to x, which is the same thing as x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Because I flipped everything around, I'm just going to flip the sign. Subtraction property equality, addition property equality, and then I flip the sign and it stays the same. Alright, so in this lesson, I know I was not here with you to do this with you, but the first question says, by adding 15 each side of the equality, do you think that would be right? Well, if you add 15 to both sides, that's not going to get rid of negative 15 cubed because this is multiplication. And the opposite of multiplication is division, not addition. So that's not going to get rid of that negative 15. Down here, it says that q is less than or equal to 150. He checked his work. Joaquin's solution is not correct because he had to divide both sides by negative 15. Well, obviously, well, no, I'm sorry. He was adding 15, and that's how he got this answer. So that's not going to work, as I mentioned before, because you actually have to divide by negative 15, which means you're going to have to flip the sign. So Q is greater than or equal to whatever 135 divided by 15 is, which should be, if I'm not mistaken, like 7, something like that. So what you would do down here is then you would choose a number. So choose like 10. 10, if you put 10 into the inequality, would it make it true? Negative 15 times 10 is negative 150, and that is less than negative 135. All right. Oh, it would be negative. I'm sorry, I just remembered. So you're dividing both by negative 15. So it's anything that is greater than or equal to negative 7, if that's what it is. All right, so here, explain is she right? Well, okay, the first thing they did was subtraction property of equality, subtracted 3 from both sides. That's how this became a 2. And then the mistake here is you're supposed to add 2x to both sides, and they instead subtracted 2x. Well, that doesn't erase this, because negative 2 minus 2 more x's makes negative 4x's, not 0. So in this case, that would not be true. And the mistake was right here. You should have been adding 2x to both sides, which makes this 5x is less than or equal to 2, which means the answer is actually going to be x is less than or equal to 2/5, or 0.4. Alright, so this one looks a lot like the homework, so I'm just going to go jump straight to the homework. Alright, so here we go. First thing I'm going to do is subtract by 3, get rid of that plus 3. That leaves me with 4/3 x is less than negative 4. And right now, x is being multiplied by 4/3. So I'm going to use something I haven't used a whole lot, which is the inverse property of multiplication, which means I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Multiply both sides by 3/4. And these cancel, leave me with just x. I'm not flipping the sign because I'm not multiplying by a negative. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 12 divided by 4 makes negative 3. Or you could have just put this over 1 and saw that these are going to cancel. This is going to turn into a negative 1. Negative 1 times 3 is negative 3. So x is less than negative 3. And once again, I'm not flipping the sign. So that'd be an open circle above negative 3. If I was graphing, it would be pointing to the left. All right, last question. Just like the one I talked about that was in the in the lesson itself. So we've got distributive property, so that's going to give us 20x plus 5 times 3 makes 15. So really, you're using a lot of things you've been doing over the course of this year so far, just putting it all together. I know it's going to take lots of steps, but really isn't all that difficult. 9 times x is 9x. 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. Bring the minus x down because there's nothing to do with it. The next thing I'm going to do after I use distributive property is combine like terms. There is 2 terms that can be combined. 9x and the minus x here can be turned into 8x minus 18. Bring down the 20x plus 15. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is get the variables on the same side. Subtract 8x from both sides. That's going to leave me with 12x plus 15 is greater than negative 18. Alright, now I'm going to try to isolate that variable. It's going to take 2 more steps. Yep, there's a lot of steps, but it's really not that difficult for each step as long as you follow the process. You got to always distribute, then combine like terms, then start doing opposite operations. Subtract 15 from both sides. That leaves us with 12x is greater than negative 33. Alright, looks like I'm going to get a decimal as my answer. Unless I've made a mistake somehow, but I don't see it if I have. Divide both sides by 12. X is greater than, and I'm just going to leave it like this. I don't have a calculator on me. You can divide negative 33 divided by 12. That's going to give you negative almost 3. It's going to be 2 point something, but I guess it would be about negative 2.8, somewhere in that realm. I'm just going to leave it negative 33 over 12 for the time being. Like I said, if you want to use your calculator, feel free to do so. And I'm definitely going to check my work. I would definitely check my work, I would say. Whenever you get an answer like this, because that's such an unusual kind of answer that maybe there's a possibility I'll make a mistake. So I'm going to let you check me and see if I made any mistakes along the way. Let me know if I did.